Hi, Brooks.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and away we go.
Yo, yo, yo!
What's
the Brooks
up?
and Banks show!
That's right. What's up, baby? This is the show where everything matters, and
Nothing matters.
that's right. Episode 14.
That's right. 1-4, baby.
That's right. Hope you've been good. Everything been good with you?
Absolutely. Everything is wonderful. Everything is perfect and can always be improved.
That's right. Now, as always, for our fans out there or people who may be clicking on this randomly, make sure you guys follow us. And you guys can also follow us on Instagram at the Brooks and Banks Show. And you can follow Banks at OptiMystic Banks. And you can follow me at Kung Fu Brooks or at Blader Brooks, depending on what you're into and want to look at. But, and always, as always, please don't call us right now because we're filming a podcast.
Exactly.
Okay, so.
Do not disturb. On.
So for this episode, I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit. I wanted to talk to you because I know that you do a lot in my life when I need advice for certain things, on certain things. And I know a lot of other people in my life and other people that I know that go to you for advice on stuff. I know that, and some people know that you also do it for work as well. But that's not the reason why you got into it. But I wanted to talk tonight about self-respect, taking care of yourself. What self-respect means, what it means to different people, and what that all entails. And so first of all, let's talk about just like respect in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're living in a day and age where people feel very entitled and like that everyone's like has a voice and like people almost feel like you need to be opinionated nowadays. And people are very quick to feel disrespected or feel like they need that they have to demand respect in certain areas. And I think it's funny that we're also living in a time where people are probably neglecting their physical health and their mental health maybe more than ever in recent times, as far as like my opinion goes.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll start it off with this. What do you do when you feel like you've been disrespected?
Well, okay. So that's a big question. I mean, I guess on a surface level, you've got to recognize that anytime anybody's expressing themselves to you, whether that's in a respectful way or a disrespectful way, that it's actually has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. It's a projection of how they see you from their finite perspective.
That's really interesting because I thought you would say if it's something that bothers you, it's probably something like a reflection of you.
It is. It's also that.
But there's also
there's stages to it that you should go through, right? That's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, first step is like, okay, actually, this is a projection. They are projecting how they feel really about themselves because everyone's you, right? But they're projecting it onto you. So first thing you need to recognize is that anytime anyone judges you or you judge anyone or anything, a judgment is actually a confession. So when anybody's judging you, and if it feels like in a disrespectful way, just try to remember that like they're basically a less evolved version of their highest self. Right? Their best version. They're like a less evolved version than their best version, right? So if you're, trying to embody your higher self, that's the first thing you need to recognize. And then you need to recognize, if this is if I feel really messed up about this and I feel really disrespected, it's definitely something that I don't like about myself that person struck a chord on. Because at the end of the day, when you are really self-aware, like Buddha said one time, if I don't accept the hate, who does it belong to? And the answer is, if I don't accept it, it belongs to the person trying to give it to me.
Yeah. Now, I can definitely say this from my experience. Although I said, like, everyone feels entitled right now, I can definitely say that being honest and maybe speaking up about how you feel about certain things can be helpful. But, and there's a big but there, it needs to be done in a certain way. So here's an example of a way not to do it. Later on go, hey, I felt really fucking disrespected by that guy. Or treating that person whack later on and being like, yeah, I was like that because you treated me with disrespect, right? Or saying it to other people or thinking about it over and over. The right way to do it is to take that person and say, hey, just so you know, when this happened, not even you did this to me or blah, 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 blah. Hey, in this situation, when this happened, it didn't make me feel good. And I felt kind of disrespected.
Yeah.
And I have like total respect for you. So I just want to let you know that just like that didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Now, you also have to be prepared for what that person can respond with, but usually it usually makes me feel better if I do it in that way, because most of the time people will go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I had no idea.
Right.
And they don't get defensive.
Exactly.
Usually.
Which is even more reason why. So like when they're judging you or expressing themselves to you, it is a projection from them. But how you deal with it, how you respond to it is really just an awareness of you from your own perspective. So,
and even me understanding that upset me, even being aware of that, there's definitely something in the back of my head that's like, well, if you're aware that upset you, you can also be aware that it doesn't need to upset you.
Yeah, because if you really actually truly respect yourself, you won't allow even the most disrespect to waver you, to make you lose your cool.
Which is what I wanted to go into with self-respect.
So, and that's another thing too, because there's levels to this. And I think like at first, it's like, what the that person just disrespected me. So at first it's like, it's a thought. Then it happens again. And then you're like, maybe I should do something about this. Then it happens again. Then you say something about it. But eventually, if you keep on walking up that ladder, you will get to the point where you don't even need to say anything. It's an energy thing that you're giving off. You've now changed who you are. So not only do people not disrespect you as much, but because you've changed who you are, there's a new version of you walking around. And again, because everybody is you in philosophy and this, because everybody is you, when you change, it takes a little while for the mirror to catch up. And so when you're changing yourself to be a better person, look at the people that are disrespecting you basically as old versions of you trying to pull you back into what you're familiar with, which is not feeling good enough. Feeling disrespected. It's
funny that you say that. So I've got a great story. So my son, who's 4 years old, and he was born in 2020, like right during COVID. So he's a COVID baby, grew up during COVID. So he goes to school and stuff, but he hasn't had as much exposure to kids as maybe a lot of other people previously.
It's wild.
So we're at a birthday party, and he likes to play where he's a good guy or he's a bad guy, and someone else is a good guy or a bad guy. So he wanted to be a good guy. And some older guy was like, no, just messing with him, like sarcastically, like, no, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. And he was just like, no. And then finally looked at me and was like, what the heck, dude? And didn't know how to handle it. And then we were finally like, he's messing with you, right? And he was like, oh, okay. And he got it. And then the guy walked away, and then I saw my son kind of go, no, screw that. And he got up and left. And so it's like at first,
it's the beginning of the ego.
It's like at first it was like someone disrespected me. Wait, what? And then it was like, oh no, I'm going to address this. But then he kept looking for him and kept wanting to address. And then it turned into this like, no, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to handle this. I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to get this handled. It was so funny watching it. And then finally it got to the point where he was just like, oh, I really don't care.
That's great. That's because he's so young. He has a short attention
span.
But
it's exactly like how we are. It's exactly how life is. But just like you said, he has a short attention span.
Everything is short.
We tend with our super enhanced computer brains to give the wrong attention to the wrong things, and we will spend so much time with this I feel disrespected mode, and we'll either be hurt, shocked, or screw that, I'm going to take action and make sure that I don't get disrespected. And barely any of us are the person that's just like, yeah, I don't care. And we've all grown up our whole lives hearing over and over and over the stories of the men who were higher consciousness, who could achieve amazing things, who were, I don't care.
A smile and a wink.
But we still fight it.
Yeah. So there's a few things I want to touch on there. Number one, like, many of the top Zen masters throughout history have said that the ultimate Zen master is a newborn infant, because there's like no identity. There's no like, it's perfect. It just is, right? And so when we're talking about disrespect, and it really comes down to the ego and identity. Mm-hmm. So like, if you're identifying with a certain part of you, like, that's the only time identity actually makes diversion. Mm-hmm. So it's part of the beautiful cycle of yin and yang, of from chaos is born, from chaos is born correspondence, is born order. Mm-hmm. So order, chaos, mm-hmm. chaos. It's like this wave, right? So again, my point being is that when you identify with something, that's the ego. So, if I identify as a father and someone tells me I'm a bad father, then I'm going to not feel great about that, Mm-hmm. But if I realize that I'm an infinite being whose consciousness is within and without of all things, not just me, but everything, then it's almost kind of laughable when someone tries to disrespect you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And not that you should laugh at somebody, but just, that from your higher self, that you are not your body, you are not your mind, I'm not Banks. Mm-hmm. I am the universe experiencing a man, right? So when you look at it from that angle... It's funny what
you said about identity, though, because it's like as soon as you create an identity or like a connection to something, that can be the ammo used against you. If someone came up to you and were like, "Hey, listen, I think you're the worst bull rider I've ever seen," you'd laugh.
Yes.
Because it's something that you're not connected to, that you have no identity with. It has nothing to do with your ego. You would laugh and say...
Well, it's funny because, even a year ago, if somebody had come up to me and been like, "You suck at rapping, you're a terrible rapper and I hate your music," it would have hurt me. Yeah. But now I'm on a whole new level where it's like... That's laughable to me.
It's like that with me in skating. It's so funny because like with inline skating, it's always with a lot of the action sports. There's this whole like machismo thing, and like that's not cool enough, and that's not real, and people making fun of each other. And it's funny, like now I'm at a place where like I don't care really so much about. I just want to have fun on my skates and do like whatever I want to do at that point. And there's even been people who have made fun of me in Instagram pages that have like shared me. Perfect. And it's like not only does it not hurt my feelings now,
it's fuel.
and not only am I like, I don't care, but now I'm just like, that's hilarious.
Because look, when you don't identify with things, there's no attachment, so there's no pain. Yeah. There's no fear, right? So like, even me talking, even you're skating, that flow state. When I'm talking right now, like, yes, it's Banks talking, but really I'm as much of an observer of this as you are. And we're all kind of just figuring this out together as it comes along. Yeah. That's basically source. And I'm not trying to be like, I'm God. Like, we're all that thing.
A librarian isn't better than anyone, but a librarian has spent a lot of time understanding books and where they are in the library so that when people want to know where a book is, they can go to a librarian. That doesn't mean that the librarian views those people as lesser than them or people view a librarian as greater than them.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with...
it's just perspective and perception.
It's the same thing with a consciousness.
Yeah,
it's and I'll tell you this: if there are people out there that are of like a higher consciousness, then they like look down on others. Like they're not nearly as high of a consciousness as they think that they are.
Well, one of the
it's a trap.
If you're whether you put something on a pedestal, whether you put something up on a pedestal or you're looking down at it, you're creating more separation.
You're creating boundaries.
And again, so you get a reflection of whatever you focus on. Yeah. So if you're focusing on like bums and homeless people, guess what? You're going to see a lot more of those. If you're focusing on everybody's richer than you, that's what you're going to see a lot of. But where are you? You're neither one of those. So that's why you just have to recognize that it's all a single oneness, right?
Dude, it's the same thing. Like, something that I used to think about, like when I was like young and stupid. Like if I'd be out in the streets or something and I'd have like a gun or a knife, I'd be like, oh damn, if I have this, think about how many other people are out there. And you just keep thinking more and more, oh, there's people even more down and more crazy and more down to be, and same with drugs and stuff. Then it was like with martial arts and like Kung Fu, it was like, oh my God, if I know all this amazing stuff and all these secrets, then like there's got to be other people that know more. And then you're like setting yourself up to be like, I want to know it all and be like I want to be bad.
Well, you're manifesting that reality. I mean, like, you know, whatever you focus on is what's going to manifest, you know?
And now if you're all just about being like, oh man, I don't know, I'm just going to be the best that I can be wherever it takes me at that time, be better than I was yesterday, more on yourself.
Yeah.
And like self-respect. And also I feel like a big part of self-respect comes down to things like when you start respecting yourself more, then you naturally will start doing things like eating better, working out more, maybe thinking about doing things like self-defense. I try to preach to people so much that one of the biggest reasons that I think self-defense is important is because it will make the world safer, not in a way where it'll protect us from bad people, but it makes people not want to do stupid stuff. Because when you are doing self-defense, you realize how fragile the body can be in certain places, how strong the body can be in certain places, and it
teaches you discipline, and it bleeds over to other parts of your life.
But like certain things like, I don't want to start crap with people because you never know what can happen. I could hurt someone really bad, or I could get hurt really bad.
Yeah.
It will make you have more confidence so that when things get heated, like an argument where you feel disrespected, you won't jump to being like, those are fighting words. You disrespected me, or feel like you're being attacked. We see it on World Star and videos, Instagram, all this stuff all the time. The fights that happen because people perceive a threat. They perceive something like happening to them, or like even they feel disrespected and they get angry about it, so they fight. After I started learning more self-defense, when things would get heated or crazy, people would even be like, why didn't you do anything? Because I'm like, what was I gonna do? Like I'm only gonna defend myself if someone's trying to hurt me, or like kill me. Not jump to fighting with someone.
On a spiritual level, on a mystic level, you know, we radiate energy and we attract whatever that energy is. So if you're, you know, have a weapon on you and you're thinking that's something that, like, you know, I'm going to have this in case, 100%. You're radiating that energy. Or if you walk around like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad did, radiating this rainbow vibration where like people walk up to you and go, are you a man? Are you a freaking God? What are you? Right? And it's like, and just like Buddha said, I'm not a man, I'm not a God, I'm awake. And so like you radiate that energy, and guess like there's nothing that can penetrate that energy.
Nope, nothing.
And so self-respect is a big thing. And, you know, talking about kind of like improving on yourself, I think that, you know, what's kind of cool about the awakening that I've gone through is, you know, mind, body, soul. I'm figuring out that as I change my habits in one area, bleeds over to the next. And what I have found is that the more I've cut things out of my life, the easier it is on all aspects of my life. So the more I control what I put in my body, like what I drink, what I eat, what I smoke, the TV that I watch, you know, social media, what I listen to, like all these are, you know, you're just a freaking antenna that's just sucking in all these energy from all these different places. And so that's, if you can start with one of these places,
right.
And for me, it was cutting back on, like, you know, the toxins I was putting in my body, the drugs I was putting in my body, but then it bled over to what I'm eating and what I'm drinking and how much do I really need. And oh my God, I'm over consuming so much on all aspects of my life. So if you can control what you're putting into your body, you can control anything.
You really can.
Because mastery of self is literally mastery of everything. The entire material universe and beyond.
That's right. Well, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, keep having respect for others and self-respect for yourself. And thanks for tuning in. If you guys like this, please make sure that you share it, subscribe, follow us. Also, if you haven't checked out our website recently, we've updated some stuff and have some new merch out.
We got t-shirts, y'all.
honestexpression.org.
That's right.
And I've also got some new Blade and Crate stuff on there for the inline skating stuff. And we got some new Kung Fu apparel and stuff.
And also, we're going to be starting a masterclass soon, a meditation manifestation masterclass where we combine Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Reiki, meditation, and manifestation techniques to help you manifest your dreams. So if you're in the LA area, definitely get at us, DM us.
Yeah, follow our socials also for virtual stuff on that as well as we grow it and get more people involved.
Other than that, we love you. Everything matters. Nothing matters. This is the Brooks and Banks Show, baby, episode 14.
That's right. Peace out.
Peace.
Lates.